Hi there, cadets. Major Cadenza here today to talk to you about the F major scale. Specifically, I'm going to be talking to you about the F major scale, how it's played on the trombone. So I think it's easiest to dive right in, and I'm going to show you the sheet music that I would read for my beginning trombone players. Now, I'm going to teach something called octave displacement on this, where we're going to play the first 5 notes to start with, and then we're going to do the first 4 notes, and then we'll play the second 4 notes in this scale in a lower octave that's just a little bit more comfortable. At the end of the video, I will also teach how to play the higher notes, just for those of you who are maybe a little bit more eager and maybe you're ready for those notes. So this is the 3rd or 4th scale that I typically teach to my beginners. I usually teach B flat, E flat, A flat, and F to my first year students. And your teacher, your district, your private instructor may use different scales, but this is a really common key signature in band land. So I think it's an important one to make sure that we study, and we study it early. So in the key of F major, we'll look at this key signature over here between your clef and your time signature. You see 1 flat. So that flat applies to all Bs. No matter how high or low, everything's going to be a B flat. And that note right here is going to be right there. That 4th note of the scale is the B flat. What this also tells us is that everything else is natural. So we're kind of used to playing E flats in our B flat major scale. That's a really comfortable, we like E's to be flat. And we like A's to be flat sometimes when we play in the key of E flat as well. But in this scale, E's and A's are both going to be in 2nd position. So let's just walk through these and what they look like to start with. You'll notice that I have numbers placed below the staff, and that's to show you the slide number that goes with each of the pitches. When they split into divisi, where the part is divided, divisi means divided, the top note applies to the higher note and the bottom note applies to the lower note. We're going to be studying mostly the lower notes. So in an F scale, we start on first position F. And I should mention also that I think it's really important to be reading the actual sheet music, not the slide numbers. But I also recognize that sometimes it's hard to play the tuning slide, and sometimes we just need a little bit of extra support. While you're learning the pattern and you're getting comfortable with just reading the music, it's okay to look at your slide numbers every once in a while. But I would not get into the habit of needing to see that. I know some people will completely disagree with me and say no slide numbers, but I know that some of my students struggle, and sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to look at the numbers to start with. But it's really important that you're associating that number with the letter name and also the slide position that it goes with, particularly the notes that change from A flat to A natural or E flat to E natural, and just being mindful of what that symbol looks like on the staff and how the key signature can change it. So sorry about that, little aside. So we'll start again at the beginning. The first note is our F, which is in 1st position. The second note is a G on that top space. This is in 4th position. Then an A in 2nd position because it's a natural. It would be A flat if it was in 3rd position. Our key signature says A natural. Now B flat is in 1st position. We're going to drop for the lower notes to start with. Low C is in 6th. D is in 4th, as here. E natural is in 2nd position, and F, both the high and the low, are 1st. Same thing with our E natural. Both of these two are 2nd, then 1st. If we were to play the higher one, our high C right here on this being split by this first ledger line is in 3rd position. High D is in 1st position. High E natural is in 2nd position, and high F is in 1st position. We'll talk more about those later. For now, we're only going to focus on those lower notes. So why don't we just dive in? I'm going to play each one of these notes, and I'll say what it is, what the note name is, what slide position it is, and demonstrate it. And I want you to follow along, at least moving your slide, but ideally you're playing with me and trying to match my pitch. So we'll start with F. 1st position, this is one of the first notes I teach my kiddos. We start with B flat and F. Some people start on F, some people start on B flat, but that 1st position note, this should be a really comfortable note that's really easy for you to find. So here's F. Now we're going to move our slide out to 4th position for G. Move into 2nd position for A natural. First position B flat. Now I could keep going, but we're going to drop low C. Fourth position D. Second position E natural. This is a weird note for us. And F, first position. Let's go back down. E natural is second. D is in 4. C is in 6. Now we have to jump up to high B flat. Now A natural, second position. G is in 4. And F. Okay. Hopefully you were able to follow along with those, but if you need to review it a couple of times, feel free to rewind and match pitch and practice that as many times as you like. Now we're going to try this in whole notes with a metronome playing. I'm going to set my metronome to 100 beats per minute. That's about a 1.5, a little bit faster than 1.5 per second. So about every 3-ish seconds, we're going to switch notes. I'm not going to be able to say notes, so you'll have to follow along on your sheet music this time. Feel free to look at the screen. I would encourage you, as soon as you feel confident with the slide positions, what's happening next, look up at the note so that you're also associating the slide position with the note on the staff. Here we go. F is in first. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, let's try the same thing, but in half notes. If you're not ready for that, go ahead and rewind and do it in whole notes again. Here we'll do half notes. This is 2 beats per pitch. The instrument's up. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, the more you practice that, the easier it is definitely going to get. Now, let's do this again, but this time I'm going to play it with the higher notes. If you're a first-year student and you haven't even been playing for a full school year yet, you're probably not ready for this just yet. But sometimes I think it's good just to talk about it a little bit and expose you to some of the basics so that when you are ready, you can revisit it. And as you improve, maybe you can add 1 or 2 notes and only drop for maybe the last 2. So let's try this. I'm going to go through each note just like we did the first time. Here's F in first position. G is in fourth position. A natural second. B flat is in first. Now a firm embouchure with lots of air going out to third position for high C. Lots of air, firm embouchure for high D first. Even higher, second position E natural. And high F, first position. Now again, if you're a first-year student and you've only been playing for maybe 6 months, you're probably not ready for this. But some students are. So I think it's always good to just share the information. For those of you who are eager and you're ready to try it, maybe you're just rocking these notes, let's try it. We're going to do this just in whole notes this time, okay? And if you're a beginner and you're not quite ready to play with the higher notes, play with us, but do the octave drop. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so as you practice this, I promise it will continue to get easier. If you're someone who's struggling to get in the higher range, the more you practice long tones on those lower notes, that's going to help build your stamina and endurance and make it easier to play those higher notes. Don't try to pick up your trombone and just crank a high F the first note that you play. You need to be well warmed up before you try to play in those higher registers. Again, just want to reiterate that slide numbers, you want to get away from those as fast as you can. And if you're practicing along with the track and you're looking at the music, maybe say you're starting with the slide position number, and then as soon as you get to that note, look at the music on the staff instead of the slide numbers. The faster you can get away with that, the faster you're going to see some drastic improvement. Other than that, I just encourage consistent practice. Remember that practicing often and smaller amounts is much more effective than saying I'm going to do all of my work on Sunday night right before I go back to school for band. Okay? Happy practicing. I wish you the very best of luck. And no matter what you do, more practice will always help. Good luck.